In the Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3, Belly is torn between Conrad and Jeremiah, with one obviously taking over her mind and the other taking over her lifestyle in ways she never expected. Both brothers have a significant impact on Belly, and her behavior around Conrad differs from her actions with Jeremiah, which we will all explore in this video. Belly has now experienced the complete romance package with both brothers, despite the time differences between her relationships with each of them. Her actions reveal how she behaves in moments that are both uncomfortable and comfortable, depending on which brother is being discussed. First of all, Belly's tolerance has had to take a significant turn since she started dating and got engaged to Jeremiah, especially with Jeremiah's smoking habit. It has been established in the show from the beginning that Belly isn't a big fan of illegal substances such as smoking. Even in Season 3, she tries so hard to endure it just because she's planning to be forever hitched to Jeremiah. It got so uncomfortable for her in one scene that she had to firmly tell Jeremiah and his friends to take the smoking outside. Other times, she's happy to inform Jeremiah that she might join him to enjoy one, which is against her usual preferences. On the other hand, Conrad doesn't smoke or appear interested in doing so, which the show also highlighted when he spoke about it, and he doesn't seem enthusiastic about engaging in any of that with Jeremiah. So this makes it clear that the brothers are very different, even in their social vices. And Belly also takes on the shape of the one she's putting up with. However, in Season 3, it appears she's only putting up with this habit from Jeremiah, which alters her usual self, one that's more in tune with Conrad. Interestingly, Belly has had to put up with a lot more than smoking from Jeremiah, which Conrad would never have dared to make her do. Although people have discussed Jeremiah's cheating episode at length, and Belly seems to have moved on from it, it's another critical phase that highlights how Belly behaves differently with the two brothers. Cheating on Belly was a very insane and brutal concept to understand, and it gets even worse with how the situation was brought up during his bachelor party. However, this video isn't about Jeremiah's actions, but rather how Belly reacts to them compared to Conrad's. Many people have been talking and angry about the fact that Jeremiah cheated, but not enough about why Belly let go of it and even agreed to marry him. For Belly, she may be engaged to Jeremiah, but her heart isn't truly engaged. To her, it feels like a real thing, but her heart knows it isn't, which is why she could easily let go of his cheating without ever thinking hard on it. Her reaction to Jay's cheating may have been to be annoyed for a while and get over it the next, but if it had been Conrad, Belly would have been shattered forever and never recovered. It gets even crazier with the next point as we continue to unravel how Belly acts very differently with Jeremiah compared to Conrad, especially in their intimate moments. Even the show's editing wants this to be very different by showing the action when it's with Conrad and only revealing pre- and post moments when it's with Jeremiah. With Conrad, we've gotten to see how involved and crazy Belly is when it comes to their very detailed bed scenes, starting from her very first time. But in the same show, Belly acts so casually with Jeremiah regarding their steamy scenes. It's almost as if she does it for the sake of being in a relationship with him, rather than being emotionally invested in it. And it's wild with Conrad's scenes, where every moment appears spicy. Even when Conrad gets wounded or talks to her, her whole senses get blown. And that's why she takes their short encounter at Cousins during Christmas as cheating on Jeremiah, because it doesn't have to get physical with Conrad before her whole presence yearns for him. And when they finally get into it, it's just a very different, appealing story compared to being with Jeremiah in that sense. And it's the decency of not having to think about Conrad that has made her block her mind from comparing the two brothers, even after her friends joked about it. Belly has changed a lot since she became serious with Jeremiah, which is one of the reasons why Laurel was strongly against their marriage plans before she came around. Before Jeremiah cheated and they moved from there to planning their wedding, Belly had plans that she had always wanted, like going to Paris and just being a girl. Still, it all changed with Jeremiah, and everything started getting done in a hurry, with plans being abandoned and schooling put on the back burner. With Jeremiah, everything feels rushed because he has that impact on her. Jeremiah wants to get married to Belly as soon as possible because his insecurity is being imposed on her. He's scared there's still a chance he might lose Belly to Conrad if he doesn't act fast, which he is obviously not wrong about. But then it has also affected how Belly acts and who she truly is. With the rush, she has had to make impulsive decisions, fight with her mother, and compromise on important things like the wedding venue and cake. Belly's every move has been about Jeremiah since they got together. Still, it's different with Conrad because even though she's not with him, Conrad makes himself about her without pushing her to accommodate his wants. The wedding plans have been awkward and stressful for Belly, causing her to stop eating. Even after Conrad cooked for her, she still didn't have the appetite to eat. Although Jeremiah was busy trying to impress his dad, Conrad actually saw this issue, which prompted him to talk to Laurel about getting involved in the plans. However, that's not the main point here. The brothers may have reacted differently to Belly's unhealthy eating behavior, with Jeremiah not even noticing, but Belly's actions around both of them actually reveal a great deal. Despite how she hasn't been a fan of food for so long, she still gets hungry whenever she's hanging around with Conrad, leading them to have a watery peach moment in the show. And even when she wasn't enthusiastic about trying the cupcakes in the car, Conrad pushed for it and wondered why Belly had changed so much from enjoying her favorite things. He even made her some food and set it in the fridge so she could always have something to eat. But Jeremiah is not just aware or attentive enough to Belly's eating habits. Still, after spending a whole day with Conrad, she got so hungry that Conrad was more than glad to turn around for the peaches. And that shows just how relaxed she is with Conrad, allowing herself to breathe compared to Jeremiah, with whom she argues over what cake to get. Speaking about relaxing herself, that shouldn't be confused with Belly being so messy at Adam's house while with Jeremiah. As we've highlighted earlier, Belly has undergone significant changes since her wedding plans with Jeremiah began. And one of those changes is her increased disregard for cleanliness in someone else's apartment. When she's at Cousins with Conrad, she doesn't leave trash all over, unlike when she's visiting Adam's house. It's almost as if Belly has been reprogrammed to malfunction since she got serious with Jeremiah and no longer cares about his impression of her or Adam's rejection or acceptance of their marriage plans. She even reset the coffee machine, which shows it's not just about personal hygiene, but ruining and messing things up when she's with Jeremiah. But at Cousins and in her own home, there have never been any complaints about her cleanliness, which makes it more telling that Belly doesn't act right with Jeremiah. It gets so wild when you also think about their fighting scenes because they're very different between the two brothers. The most memorable and intense fight between Belly and Jeremiah was after he cheated. And the way it played out was Belly being very angry and disgusted that Jeremiah would do that to her. And it was the usual emotional way she could have reacted, which she got over as soon as possible. But her fight with Conrad is about her gaslighting and convincing herself that Jeremiah has been everything to her, and how Conrad wouldn't be any of that. Also, in their fight, she mentioned that Conrad had hurt her more than Jeremiah had ever done, which means she was equating his depressing episodes to Jerry's cheating moments. Funnily enough, it's clear which is more forgivable between the two, and that shows Belly tries to keep lying to herself despite what her heart says. With Jeremiah, Belly acts differently and has influenced the fans' decisions about her. Getting serious with Jeremiah has made Belly unlikable, especially when she's with him, with people saying their scenes are cringy to watch and endure. And it has gotten to the point where people look forward to seeing Belly alone with Conrad without getting any disturbance from Jeremiah. So with Conrad, Belly's flaws are hidden and protected to the point where viewers couldn't even see them, making them love Belly and even hoping she chooses herself and leaves the Fisher brothers alone. However, it's a different story with Jeremiah, where her flaws are now exposed and her bad side reflects because of his influence on her, demoting her from being a fan-favorite character, which reveals just how terrible she is with Jeremiah compared to Conrad. Interestingly, despite the division between the Fisher brothers over Belly, it's worth remembering that they've all been together since they were kids and have fond memories of their childhood. Still, it's also wild that Belly acted differently with Jeremiah and Conrad even as a child. Only Conrad seems to exist in her flashbacks despite being engaged to Jeremiah. So both in her memories and in her physical presence, everything continues to remind her of Conrad, with Jeremiah just being the boy who has always been in the background.